Hi guys, we're in FSX today. Currently we are going to be flying a Beechcraft 58, as you can see here, and we're going to be, I'm going to try and teach you how to fly this thing. Though I should say at this point I'm not a real world pilot, so I could be doing this completely wrong. But it's the way that works in flight sim. So, airport we're at, we are currently sitting cold and dark at Biggin Hill. We are on stand number 1 here. As you can see, we have the runway somewhere behind us. Useful to know where that is when you start, so you know which way to taxi. That's actually quite a short runway, but it shouldn't be a problem in this aircraft. That end looks closest. So, let's get started up. First thing to do is get some power, and to do that you need to turn the battery switch on. Now, let's see if I can remember which switch that is. It would be that one. Hold on, I have my keyboard all the way out of the way, but I now need it to zoom in. So, our battery switch is on. Now, avionics master's already on. What do we need next? So, we're going to want to put our lights on at this, or some of our lights on at this point. As you start up, you want your strobe and recognition light on, I believe is the procedure, but as I say, I'm not a professional pilot, so I don't know. Okay, it looks like we've only got strobe in this aircraft. That's fine. Let's turn the fuel pumps on. DI switch we won't need. Right, what's next? Okay, I think at this point we start the engine. Or not. Nope. That's what I'm doing wrong. So let's just do that. That should, as you can see, the engine is now running. Hopefully you guys can hear that and hear me at the same time. I know we had issues with that in previous flight sim episodes, but I think I fixed it. Unfortunately, it does mean I can't hear the game at all now, but that's fine. Right, let's get this engine running. There you go. That's both engines running. And we are about ready. One last thing to do is turn your generators, or alternators as they're called, on. Right, we probably want taxi lights on shortly. That's landing, that's taxi. Don't need instrument panel lights. Yep, everything else looks good to go. So, now we could do one of two things here. We could slide forward and try and spin round in that space, but what we probably should do is request a pushback. And the game's lagging a little bit, I don't know why, but we're going to request pushback when it will allow me. Come on, Flight Sim. And that is done by pressing Control and P, I believe. Release the parking brake. Wow, frame rate is really not happy here for some reason. But it seems it's Shift P for pushback. Yep, it is. I'm not sure what's causing the frame rate issue here. Hopefully once we get into the air that should subside. Maybe. Wow, we're not getting a very straight pushback, are we? Whoa, this frame rate really is problematic now. It doesn't usually do this when I'm playing Flight Sim. Okay, and to stop the pushback, it's Shift and P again. That should stop us. Right, now let's try taxiing. Taxi speed. Technically you shouldn't taxi any faster than you can walk, and you should follow these yellow lines on the floor, which I am not doing a very good job of doing right now, but that's just because I'm trying to get facing the right way, and the lag is not helping me at all. This aircraft does not have differential brakes. This is quite difficult with so much lag. I suspect I may need to update graphics drivers. My computer does keep telling me to do that, but because of internet speed here, that's quite difficult. Like, it takes about a day to download the update. So, getting to the runway, you stop at that line we've just flown right past. Hold on. But you can see behind us, or you could if the camera would cooperate. You should be able to see just there behind us. There's the yellow, double yellow dashed lines with the two solid yellow lines behind. You're supposed to stop before that and call air traffic control. Wait for them to give you permission to either take off or line up and wait. Right, let's see if we can get back in the virtual cockpit. That's a wing. There we go, there's the cockpit. So we're assuming we've been given permission at this point. And we're just going to taxi out and I think I'm just going to do a rolling start. So we just aim roughly for the center line, and when we're happy we're pointing roughly along it, just give it full power. And we need flaps 1, we probably should have. Well, we don't really need it, but that's that here, comes down to the middle. I have a button on my joystick set up to do it. Oh, and mercifully the frame rate's coming back. Don't know what the actual takeoff speed of this aircraft is, but 120 is good enough. So I'm now going to bring the flaps back in. No, that's the gear, sorry. Gear first, then flaps back in if they'll cooperate. They will not. Oh wait, they're already... Yep, okay, that's fine. So, we're now in the air. Now, I'm going to try and fly a circuit of the airfield. And to do that, all you do is basically fly out a distance from the airfield. Now, usually doing this, you'd have charts of the flight pattern at the airfield, which would tell you how far away you fly. But then, once you get to that distance, you just make a gentle bank. Again, charts would tell you which way you go, but we're going to go to the right. Gentle bank, and you fly back parallel with the runway. We shall do that shortly. And you're aiming, I believe, to keep speed, well, probably above about 110 knots in this. I don't know the exact speed, but keep the speed up there. I'm going to pull back on the power just a little bit to, what are we at? About 84% I'm using at the minute. So as you can see, we're nice and far out from the airfield, so we're not going to be interfering with traffic on the runway, but we can still see it. Now again, the distance from the runway would depend on the airfield itself. So we've climbed to 3,500 feet, that's not bad. Again, the height would depend on the airfield. So as you can see, if I can get the camera to point that way, as you can see, we are now roughly paralleling the runway we took off from. Now normally what you might do is get to fly past the end of the runway, so extend this beyond the end of the runway like we did when we took off, and then swing back and land on that runway. But I think I'm going to go past the end of the runway as before, but then attempt to land on this shorter runway over here, because it's shorter and I think it would make an interesting challenge. This aircraft should be capable of that, I hope. So, gauges anyway, while we're here. You've got your artificial horizon there, which shows the angle of the nose. So obviously you see if I pull up, we see more blue, the arrow moves up the gauge, push down, more green, the arrow moves down the gauge. So if you can't see outside, if you're in thick cloud or something, or flying at night, it's a way to know what the aircraft's doing. Also shows angle of bank, as you can see. This is speed indicator. Obviously changing the power on the throttles will affect that, but also pitching up is going to slow you down, pitching down is going to speed you up, theoretically. Right, let's see. We have altitude indicator here, that shows how high you are, and vertical speed indicator, how quick your altitude's changing. They're the main gauges you need to worry about. Obviously this is navigation instrumentation. Don't really know how to use that stuff. Not really important unless you're relying on instruments for navigation. So as you can see, we're a good way past the end of the runway. I'm going to start a gentle right hand bank again. Now here, this is turn and slip indicator. Also shows the angle of the bank, and this ball shows the amount of side slip going on, and you can use rudder to compensate for that. So if I turn quite sharply, you see the ball moves to the right, but I can then use a little bit of right rudder to correct that. Right, I'm going to fly out this way, so we're now roughly paralleling the runway I want to land on. I'm also going to pull back on the power and start the descent. See that there, it's when that comes out, it's when I pull back too far on the power, it just gives me an alert to let me know the gear's still up. Because it thinks, you know, if I pull the power right back, it thinks I'm trying to land with the gear up. So you can see there's the runway we want to land on somewhere. I don't know why the camera's not cooperating. Yeah, there's the runway. We're going to swing round and come onto a final approach there. We are, I believe, on what's known as the downwind leg currently. I believe that's what it's known as. We don't want to lose too much height here, but we need to lose enough. Okay, now I'm going to start a gentle bank. So yeah, as I was saying with the turn and slip indicator, you've got to coordinate your movements with the stick, with your rudder movements, and wow, frame rate issues again, and other throttle movements and such. Oh, this, it really does not want me to manage this, does it? Whoa, 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 whoa. This is getting difficult. Okay, what's going on? What's going on? I can't see my gauges. That's better. Sorry about this lag. I'm not sure what's really causing it, and there's not a lot I can do at the minute. I believe this is the airfield here. I really hope it is. Yep, I see the runway. So obviously you would be calling air traffic control all the time to let them know what's going on. Don't know why it keeps hitting sudden massive pockets of lag and then other times it's fine. Seems strange. I'm gonna get one lot of flaps out. I said I'm gonna get one lot of flaps out. There we go. I think that's... oh, there we go. It's sorted itself. No, it hasn't. It was fine, and then I throttled up and the lag hit me again. Okay, at this point I'm going to bring the gear down. Whoa, this is seriously choppy at this point. So obviously if you were doing this on a computer that was working properly, you would be flying a lot more smooth than this. Okay. Right, so now we're basically aiming for the center line of the runway. We're slightly to the left of it. Now, this one hasn't got PAPI lights either. We're gonna have to guess our glide slope. So I've got the power at about 25% at this point. This lag is killing us. It might quite literally kill this aircraft. So we're keeping tabs on our gauges. Need to make sure we don't hit the ground, our altitude doesn't reach zero before the runway. Now obviously our altitude won't actually be zero on the runway anyway, because the runway's got an altitude above sea level. You would know that for the runway you're landing on, but I don't, so I'm just going to eyeball it. And then at the last minute you want to bring the nose back, close the power. Wow, I floated that quite a lot. We were going a bit too fast when we came in, but it's all fine, probably. Yeah, see, we stopped before the end of the runway. Just. You would not do that for really, you'd have gone round there, because we were well beyond what would have been considered safe, but it's fine. So again, taxiing no faster than you can walk. Taxiing's working a lot better now. We're just going to pull into this concrete hard standing here. or whatever it's called, and come to a stop. Parking brake on. You can either do that. There's a control somewhere in here. I never can remember where it is in this aircraft, but it's alright because you can press control period to do it. Or is it just... hold on, is it just... no, it is control period. Okay. And shut the aircraft down. We do pretty much the opposite of what we did earlier. Pull mixture controls back to 0. That shuts both engines off. Turn the alternators off. You turn all the lights off, but I'm not going to bother. I'm just going to turn the battery switch off. And that's us done. So, see you next time.